Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. The Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 155. It is September 15th, 2018. My name is Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall, and this is Batman Day.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
It is. Have you accepted Batman as your Lord and Savior?
Yeah. Well, wait, how long has Batman Day been a thing? I feel like I've seen this in recent years, but...
You know, I'm just tired of these Hallmark holidays, Brian.
I was going to say, I get these emails where they're like, well, obviously it's Batman Day this Saturday. I'm like, obviously? I mean, yay, but...
Yeah, I think one day Warner Brothers just decided, we're going to have a Batman Day.
That feels very, you say like Hallmark holidays, it feels like there's very Instagram holidays also, where it's like, today is churros soaked in caramel day.
Yes.
It's like, well, if you just declare it, then hooray.
It becomes a thing, yeah. So I don't know what we do on Batman Day. I'm not sure. Do we spend a day in quiet reflection for all he has sacrificed? Or do we go to a Batman Day sale at Kohl's? I don't know what the protocol...
That's really funny.
I don't know what kind of a holiday it is, Brian. It's very confusing.
I don't either. I'm just like I do on some other days. I'm just gonna quietly have him in the back of my mind.
But that's you every day.
Well, yeah. Well, sure. But
I will say this actually, Brian, relating to Batman. So this week they launched the DC Universe app.
Oh yeah, sure.
Via Roku and and on iOS. So I spent I got a subscription and I spent a couple hours yesterday just going through and looking at their catalog. So for those of you who don't know, this is an app. It's a streaming service that gives you access to a bunch of DC Comics comic books, so you can read them on your TV, which is maybe not. I guess you can read them on your tablet too. Now that I think about it, but you can also watch just a metric shit ton of DC TV and movie content. So every episode of the Justice League cartoon, every episode of Lois and Clark, every episode of Superboy, et cetera, et cetera. And they have every episode of Batman the Animated Series for the first time in HD.
Oh, yeah. I saw that it was coming out on Blu-ray.
So, it is coming out on Blu-ray. So this is like a sneak preview of what that's going to look like. And it looks fantabulous.
That's great. What an interesting service, by the way, because I was thinking how much of their, TV content would you really care to always have access to? But if it's like is it their whole back catalog?
Not yet. I mean, I'm wondering, here's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering, is it going to be something that they keep adding to, or is it going to be something where they add and subtract? Because as of now, there's stuff that I know is clearly missing. They don't have the 66 Batman show. They don't have...
Oh, sure. I meant in terms of comic books. Sorry, I should...
Oh, in terms of comic books, I don't believe it's everything. I think there's a few... They're like, this is like your... It's like a sampler platter for people who are, fans, but not indentured fans.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that's kind of because again, I don't know that I would subscribe to a DC streaming service, but I do find it interesting and more compelling the fact that can encompass a lot more things than just a smattering of TV shows.
Yes. Well, and by the way, they have a whole host of streaming exclusive TV shows that they're going to be doing.
Right.
So they are currently they have the Titans TV series coming.
Right, with Angry Robin.
Hashtag F Batman.
Yes.
And then they're also doing...
Oh, not today, Zachy. Not today.
Hashtag too soon.
Yes.
They're also filming Doom Patrol, which is... Brendan Fraser is involved in that. He's going to be, I think, the voice of the character Robot Man. And I realize none of what I'm saying means anything to you.
I was just... Well, you said Doom Patrol, but at first I thought you said Dune Patrol, and then I thought about a bunch of cool, late teens on dune buggies, patrolling the beach, and I was like, that sounds fun.
You're well, it is a streaming service, and that's the budget that they have, so.
Right. And then you said Robot Man. I was like, now you're just making things up.
I picture like this robot guy riding a dune buggy at the beach.
Yes, he's like Lomax or whatever, like their robot pal who yearns to be a teen himself.
I think we need to make this show now.
We've created far too many shows, on this
they're
show.
they're just lost. We say it, we put it out there, and then it's forgotten. Anyway, so that's happening, and then they're doing Swamp Thing.
Oh, I've seen that, but I didn't realize that was for the streaming service. That's interesting.
Yeah, so
I wonder where they're getting the money for this.
Well, I mean, it's Warner Brothers, Brian. That's how.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems. Well, I don't know how much they're spending. Let's put it that way. Like,
well, based on the stills and the footage that we saw of Titans, not much.
touche. Yeah, those pictures, from what I can tell, I didn't think they looked great, but from what I can tell, other people didn't. It didn't go over well either.
I mean, I'm an optimist, and I looked at they released a new still yesterday, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they look like kids on Halloween.
That's right.
I heard someone else, I'm stealing this, but they said it looked like a bunch of kids on Halloween in a cheap escape room. I was like, yeah, it really does.
It does, unfortunately. But I don't know. We'll see. If I hope it's successful, because as you know, I'm a DC Comics fan, and I would love nothing more than for new ways of getting these characters out into the world.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, by the way, I wanted to bring this up. I saw on Instagram some meme or capture or whatever of Jeff Goldblum. Did you see this?
No.
Where they're asking him...
Oh, I did see this.
Yeah, like Marvel or DC. He's like, what do you mean? Like, aren't they both comics? And I was like, can't we all be a little more like Goldblum?
What a world this would be if we could all be like Jeff Goldblum. I have to agree with that.
Yeah, well, and his face was so sincere. Like, he was confused. Like, what? Don't we love them all?
Yeah, it was almost like this borderline disgust. Like, why would you ask me this?
Yes, which is great.
Hey, that's our Goldblum.
That's our Goldblum.
So, what new and exciting things have you seen lately, Brian?
Well, I still the only movie I've really been able to is what we're going to discuss later. Mm-hmm. But I do anticipate receiving my Cinemia.
You need to be able to pronounce it before you use it.
Yeah, they need to figure that out. But I believe it's called Cinemia, my new subscription movie ticket card club. But then I'll probably go out there and take a few more risks than I am lately. But I've been trying to catch up on TV because I just haven't been watching TV much this year. And have you ever watched BoJack Horseman on Netflix? I
have not. I keep hearing about it.
So it's really great. My brother has just been twisting my arm to watch it, and I finally did. And I watched season 1, and it is so funny. And the reason that it's so good is because it's actually filled with honest-to-goodness jokes. Like, just like the way The Simpsons used to be, just wall-to-wall jokes. But it's also really into the characters and their development.
But it's a dude with a horse head, right?
Yes. So it's a world that are half humans and half animals, and it takes place in Hollywood. At one point, the D goes missing, so everyone refers to it as Hollywood moving forward. And it's just like there's an episode where they flash back to the 90s, and just this toss-off joke. Someone asks, wants to stop someone. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm too busy. We need to find a rhyme for, and I'm here to say. And then he just walks away. And it's like their 90s episode. It's just wall-to-wall jokes like that. And sometimes when it's over, I don't want to watch the next one because I think I'm just going to forget what I just watched, and I want to kind of enjoy it.
That's really funny.
So anyway, I'm way behind. I'm in middle of season 2, but I'm looking to catch up. And season 5 just dropped this past Friday. So that's why I bring it up, and I'm looking forward to finally catching up with everyone else who's been trying to get me to watch this show for so long.
I have students talk about it all the time, and I'm far too busy, so I've never given it a look. But Aaron Paul, right? Isn't he? Yeah,
he plays BoJack's roommate.
Okay,
and there's a lot of great people in the show.
That's when I first heard about this, actually, because I interviewed him back in 2013. Or 2014, it would have been 2014. And I was like, hey, what else you got going on? He's like, I got this new thing coming up, BoJack Horseman. I'm like, whatever, Jesse. I was like, whatever, Jesse. Then I flipped the table and stormed out.
Yeah, and he's like, whoa.
Then I came back in because I forgot my mic. It was like a whole awkward thing. But
yeah, no, I remember. Speaking of that universe, though, I'm watching Better Call Saul again. which I've said a lot. Is one of
That's
my
an
favorite
accidental segue. Look at that.
shows. I know.
That's like
Hey, when I see
triple
it, I
word
run with
score.
it. I'm trying. I learned from the best, Becky. You are the king of segues. So anyway, yeah, Better Call Saul, season 5. This is a show that I just really, really love, and so far I think I'm like 4 episodes deep, and I have to admit it is taking a little bit of time for me to kick into gear with the show. It's almost like I wish I could stream it and just dive in headfirst into what this story is going to be this season. But on the other hand, I also appreciate that this is a show that takes its time and it sets a tone, and you spend time with people doing quiet, mundane things for a while that only make you appreciate bigger moments later on. So I feel like I'm still sort of waiting in that, okay, like we're ramping up here. And I still love watching these people. So I'm just so happy that the show is back.
So this is still all Breaking Bad prequel territory.
Yes. However, they used to have elements or traces of things that correlated with Breaking Bad.
Okay.
And now this season is definitely by far the most connected to the future events on Breaking Bad.
Oh, it is connected. That's interesting. I thought you were going to be like, oh, and they're moving further away from that, but yeah, I guess it makes sense.
No. But that's what's interesting too. And it's I've seen people online talking about they have mixed feelings on it, because I wonder if they didn't trust that we'd be interested enough in Saul's world alone, and they had to tease us with other things that they knew we liked early on, but they actually have created such a compelling universe for him and him alone and his co-stars. They're all equally interesting. And so sometimes when they go into the Breaking Bad stuff, I find myself a little more interested in going back to the Saul universe. But I mean, it all, just because Vince Gilligan's such a masterful storyteller, I mean, it does all fill of a piece in its own show as well.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and it's the one show that I every week I watch it as soon as it's on. It's like the only show I do that.
There is no show like that for me. So I'm glad you found something like that in your life, Brian.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you.
Brian, I got to revisit a movie that I was not in any mood to revisit. I'm talking about Ready Player One.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to hearing your second take months later on this.
So this came out. When did it come out? Like early part of the year, I think, right?
Was it like March or something?
What Smarch maybe? I don't know.
Smarch, lousy Smarch weather.
We were complaining about the Smarch weather, and then yeah. So this take your shot, folks. By the way, waiting for the Simpsons reference. There it is.
Yeah.
It came out. I remember really. I was enthusiastic about seeing it, and then I watched it, and we talked about it in when it came out. So I won't reiterate that. But I was not a fan. I think that much was clear if you listened. And as time went on, I had less and less desire to revisit it. Mm-hmm. But my kids have just been up my ass about watching this, and it occurred to me. I'm like, this is my own goddamn fault. Because
Why?
I've turned them into these little 80s kids.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So this is like my own Frankenstein monster. Because now they're like, oh, it's got King Kong and the DeLorean and the this and the that.
It appealed to 40-year-old men and your kids.
Exactly. And I'm like, damn it, Zachy. Right? So they've been just on me about it. And as soon as it was on digital, they're like, can you buy it? Can you buy it? I'm like, no, it's $20. I'm not paying it. I'm being like grumpy grandpa, And so finally, like, I got a deal where I got it for like $3. I got a 4K copy, and I was like, all right, let's just watch it like this. And I just did not want to watch it. And I do not like this movie, Brian. I just don't. I watched it again, and I like it less.
I saw that because I was visiting your family, and I saw that you had it, and your kids were excited to watch it, and so I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I think I was really charitable in that movie. The more I thought about it, because obviously, look, I mean, we're human beings, we have our blind spots, and Spielberg will always be a blind spot for me. And if I walk out of his movie, I'm going to see the positives, and I'm going to try to rationalize the negatives. And with some hindsight, with some distance, I mean, yeah, I might have been a little charitable.
In all honesty, this is probably my least favorite Spielberg movie in a long time.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's funny because obviously we talk a lot about like fun Spielberg and Papa Spielberg, and I'm like, maybe fun Spielberg like just, he doesn't really exist in the same way anymore, and that's okay.
Or I wonder if this is just a story he wasn't very passionate about, because it doesn't feel like the story isn't that great.
Somebody else said this, and I think it's so perfect. There was a day when this would have been a Steven Spielberg Presents movie.
Yes, wow, that's a great observation.
Right?
Yeah.
And I almost feel like you'd be willing to grade it more on a curve for that.
I completely agree.
But it's just weird because I've encountered a lot of people who they're like, it's my favorite movie of the year. They're like, I can't wait to watch it again. And I'm not derisive of them. I'm just genuinely like, I wish I saw what you saw.
Well, I know, similar to something like Jurassic World or whatever, where I'm like, look, this is not a good movie, but there were some thrills to be had. I keep saying it's like I went to a theme park and went on a ride, and I enjoyed the ride. But if I'm looking at it as a piece of art, well, I'm like, Jurassic World, I wouldn't call it a piece of art, sure. Right? And I think I had the similar sort of feeling with this, where I enjoyed. I mean, at this point, who cares? Like the whole Shining thing in the
right.
middle. And I enjoyed the race at the beginning. So there were things that I was like, well, that was fun. But when I started thinking about actual story moments, I mean, then it was kind of, lower tier.
It's just funny because, and I can't remember if I said this when we talked about it, but, at the time somebody was like, how can you not be excited? It's a movie where you get like RoboCop and the Iron Giant and Spawn and all these characters are all together. It's like Roger Rabbit. I'm like, no, it's not. It's like a cosplayer convention.
That is yes, exactly. Yeah, that's a really, really good comparison.
Right? I mean, you can appreciate it. Yeah, sure, that's cool. I mean, it's totally fine. Like, and again, my kids seem to like it. So, like, I'm like, all right, well, you guys are the audience for it. So if you like it, that's cool. But I excuse myself. I like, I've never done this for Family Movie Night. I'm like, I'm bored. I'm going to go, like, sit on Twitter for half an hour.
Yeah. Or you, like, went outside and they're like, what's Daddy doing? He's like, he's smoking. He's like, Daddy doesn't smoke.
He's never done that before. Yeah.
Just under like one single back porch light.
So did not have a great time revisiting Ready Player One.
Well, I have not felt compelled to go back to it, I'll admit. I'm certain when it's on HBO, I'll stop on it.
Yes.
Here or there, depending on what moment it's at, but yeah.
The other thought I had, and I think part of this is just us getting old now, and I was having this conversation with Sean a few weeks ago. We're reaching that point where all of these new young actors just kind of blend into each other.
Oh, yeah. I can't tell if it's us or if we actually are onto something and these people all do blend together.
I mean, if you paraded Miles Teller in front of me and told me he was Ty Sheridan, I would believe you, and vice versa.
That's funny.
And all these people. I mean, they're all like they're from that. Like they're all now from that thing that we for sure have not seen. Usually,
that could be part of it too, right? Where maybe the people that we remember from growing up, say like a Michael J. Fox or whatever, like they had their impactful role.
Yes.
And like these people just keep showing up in things that we don't pay much attention to, so we don't associate them with anything. So they're just sort of. They're anyone and no one at the same time?
They are the pretender.
Yes. They are, they're like the saint. Like how he can...
Dude, the saint...
Did we do this on the show, or is this just real?
No, this is just you and me.
Okay.
the folks, if you haven't seen the trailer, watch the trailer for The Saint, the 1997 movie starring Val Kilmer. Because what's hilarious is the whole he plays this like master of disguise. Like that's the whole bit, right? And if you don't know the history, this is the movie that Val Kilmer bolted the Batman franchise to do. He was supposed to do Batman and Robin. He's like, no, I'm doing The Saint because The Saint is going to be the next big thing. And I'm pretty sure as soon as the first trailer for that movie was released, audience members were like, no, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And there's a whole sequence in there where it's like he like you said, he's everybody and no one. You see it in all these disguises, but it's all just like Val Kilmer with like a bald cap or like a fake mustache. And he's like, well, that's
or fake teeth or
yeah. So there's one where he's got a bald cap and like nappy hair and like fake teeth. So he's like And you're like, well,
but it's
that's
supposed to be like, where did he go?
yeah, but you're just like, well, that's Val Kilmer with fake teeth.
Yeah,
And I'm not even making this up. You got to go to YouTube, find
just
the
watch
trailer.
it.
The Saint 1997 trailer. It's really funny. Accidentally
Wait.
funny.
And it's funny because my brother and I, this has been an inside joke with us for years. And Zachy and I have never talked about this. And then for some reason, when we were visiting, it came up, and he had the same sort of joke with himself. And I just couldn't believe, all these years just like, hello, I am Professor Humplethorpe. Val Kilmer is nowhere to be found. You know,
Where did Val Kilmer go?
where did Val, yes.
And you wonder if everybody like in the room is like, well, you're obvious. Like, are they just humoring him? Like, what's the? It's so
Yeah.
weird. But that's the thing. Yeah, that's yet another thing that we had in common. We had no idea about.
Yeah, I'm glad that came up.
So Brian, hey, we have a new review up on iTunes,
Okay.
and I wanted to share this with you. This is left by Second Best 101.
All right.
And this is settle in, hunker down. This is a little novella for you, Brian.
Okay. Wow.
It took me far too long to finally post a review here for a podcast that has brought me this much joy, but better late than never. The Movie Film Podcast is far and beyond my favorite podcast. Listening to it feels like drinking a hot cinnamon-spiced apple cider near a fireplace on a brisk fall evening surrounded by loved ones.
Oh, wow.
I have lost track of the amount of times I've said, I was talking to some friends about this the other day, only to remember I'd actually just heard it on this podcast and talked to my phone pretending I was part of the conversation. The engrossing nature of the podcast is not only a testament to the hosts' wonderful friendship and chemistry, but also to their individual strengths and qualities. Zachy imparts more knowledge of the Marvel Universe / Star Trek Universe / movies in general than I ever thought I'd learn, while never avoiding the socio-political aspects of whatever topic is at hand. Think gender, race, religious disparities, Louis C.K. and the Me Too movement, to name a few, making pertinent, thoughtful, and refreshing arguments. Meanwhile, Brian is there also. I'm kidding. There's more about Brian. Meanwhile, Brian exists. Meanwhile, Brian has completely changed the way that I watch, absorb, and appreciate movies, from the scores to the credits. And I don't know anyone who works harder to find the good and even the worst of movies, which is ironic because you were just shitting all over that Jim Carrey show just today. So, likely out of the respect he has for the hard work that goes into creating them, regardless of the quality. Plus, he sounds dreamy. That's actually in there, Brian. That's not just me saying that. Although I think that all the time whenever I talk to him.
Well, thank you. Wow.
Their passion for movies is palpable and addictive and leads listeners to feel engaged and part of the conversation in a way that no other podcast I've listened to does. Thank you for for getting me through long drives, dragging workdays, and menial tasks. Can't wait for the next episode. MFP's #1 groupie.
My goodness. That is wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's we're done now. Actually, we're just gonna go to break, and we'll come back in a few weeks because I don't know how to top a review like that. We do need to recollect. I'm gonna go to break and have a cigarette. Have my first cigarette after reading that review. So let's take a short break. We'll be back right after this. And we are back, and we do have a few headlines to get through, Brian. So let's start with the fact that digital movie ownership may not be as much ownership as we thought.
You know, this was always my fear. I mean, let's talk about the story first, but
so apparently, now this is anecdotal from what I can tell, but Apple, so this is specifically through iTunes, they have removed movies from their storefront, that happens, so you sometimes, the digital license lapses or whatever. But what's always been the case is that even if the digital license lapses, so they're no longer selling a thing, if you already own the thing, you own it. It's part of your library.
Right? It should be in your hard drive, right?
Well, not or your like cloud drive. Like even if
well, these days, yeah. Look at me.
Yeah, Gramps.
I'm about 7-8 years behind.
It should be saved on the VHS tape that they give you, right?
And then you just destroy the tab, and it's preserved.
And then
forever.
you're good. Destroy the tab. Nobody's gonna. Do you understand how that reference? Like past like 1999, that's it. Nobody knows
Well,
it.
I'm gonna keep it alive. It's not gonna die on my watch.
Like somebody tells you a secret, you're like, it's safe with me. I've destroyed the tab.
Right? So, destroying the tab. We start a lot of phrases that we never return to.
It's true.
Like
Hashtag
keystering the
tab.
acid.
Keystring. Dude, that's my mission, is to make that happen. And I know for a fact people have started using that because of us. I'm very proud of that.
Oh man, that was so funny. All right, sorry.
That was in our Superman 3 commentary track, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
So, deep cut. So apparently, this is a Twitter user named Anders G. De Silva found himself in a few stories after he tweeted that he lost 3 digital movies bought on the iTunes Store in Canada. He wrote to Apple to complain about the missing movies. Apple wrote back saying, the content provider has removed these movies from the Canadian store, hence these movies are not available in the Canada iTunes Store at this time. Which is weird because it feels like they're not answering the question, which is yes, but I already paid for it.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting. He says they didn't offer a refund. Instead, they reportedly gave him 2 credits for renting a movie on the iTunes Store.
Right.
When he told them he wasn't in the market for rentals, they tried to appease him with 2 more rental credits.
I mean, look, if you're paying, I think where Apple is coming from is they're basically saying, like, look, you don't own this movie. You're paying $20 to license owning this movie, right?
You buy the license.
You buy the license. And if somehow whatever you are licensing it from goes away, then you no longer have it. But I think most customers would assume if they're spending the price of something that is typically a purchase,
Yes.
you would assume that you own it always and forever.
Yeah, and again, I'm wondering if this is just an iTunes thing, because I'm here. Let me pull up my Vudu library.
Oh my goodness!
So
Yes,
it shows here I own, let's see, 758. Sorry, 725. Sorry, 636. 542.
No, Zachy, no!
What's going on?
Pull the plug.
No, so far all my movies are here. And I've seen on Vudu where they stop selling something, but you still own that thing.
Well, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, so my bi-weekly infomercial for Vudu will continue indefinitely.
Well, that's good to know too, because I'm sure a lot of people, if they are getting into their collections being all up in the cloud, they're probably going all in on a service. And most people, no, not most people, a lot of people have Apple TV. So they're like, well, then I'll just do it through the Apple Store. That just seems the most convenient way to do it. Some people choose Vudu, right? So it just seems like, well, if you're doing this through Apple, you may want to think twice about it.
But, I mean, Brian, bear in mind that nowadays you have the Movies Anywhere platform, right? So,
But if it's connected, something that you, I was going to say purchased, but licensed through iTunes, I mean, you could lose it through there, right?
But if it's Movies Anywhere, then it's registered through that. So you right because Movies Anywhere allows you to connect iTunes to Vudu to Google to Amazon.
Okay.
So you can access your digital library across platforms.
So you think that is sort of like a fail-safe to this?
It, in theory, I mean, it should be, right?
I guess. I mean, I just don't know. To me, it just feels like a bunch of different clubs, but they all meet in the same building. And if, one club decides it's not going to do anything anymore, even though it's in the building, there's like nothing you can do. And that's my guess. I don't know how it actually works.
That's to me, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just trying to convince myself,
Yeah. Well, I don't have a ton of movies through iTunes. Most of the things that I own are through Vudu, so I mean, it definitely deters me.
Yeah, but well, you should connect your libraries, because you can do that and just see which of your Vudu movies ends up in your iTunes library.
Oh, interesting. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right,
Well,
because
but it's funny. I still, though, to this day, I just don't entirely trust it. Like every now and then, if I'm going to buy something like Solo, which I probably will get on Blu-ray.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I will probably get it on Blu-ray. I still, every now and then, I might get something through the streaming service, but I still feel like, I don't know, there's something.
See, for me, what I've said online is what owning digitally allows for is you're just more there's stuff where you're like, well, I like having it, but I don't want to have it.
I get it. Shelf
know?
space.
Yeah, right. Like it's like I'm looking at my library right now. I have my Voodoo library pulled up, and I'm like, Keanu. I own Keanu,
Right.
and I'm like, do I really like want to deal with shelf space for Keanu? Not really.
Yeah.
But maybe one day it may happen. It hasn't happened yet, but maybe one day I'm just in the mood to watch Keanu. It's nice to be able to pull that up, but there's certain movies where you're like, Star Wars. Yeah, I want to own that. MCU movies for me, I want to own those. E.T. or Jurassic Park. I want the best versions of those. But everything, it's like, how many of those do you really need to own?
I totally get it. And I think for me, and I know this is actually getting better with streaming, but for me, it's all about, say, a Jurassic Park or a Star Wars or something. Like, I watch the second disc. I watch all the behind the scenes stuff, all the commentaries, and it didn't used to be this way, but it feels like streaming now is catching up with including deleted scenes, commentaries, what have you.
Yeah. I mean, they just put out Solo on streaming in the last 36 hours, and the special features are quite good. I haven't even worked my way through the entirety of them, but I like what I see so far. Yeah. So this is almost a developing story. I'm very curious if Apple actually responds to this.
Yeah, well, Apple, the first $1 trillion company in history. Let's see if they have the time to respond.
and I'll tell you, I just bought a pair of Apple AirPods.
Oh,
they are the wireless. They are the wireless AirPods.
Yeah. Do they stay in your ears?
They do. They are amazing. They are
really
amazing. Yeah. Now here's the shitty thing about this. I bought them a week ago last Tuesday, and this past Tuesday, I got back from work, and I put my little AirPod case on my nightstand, and I went and I was just cleaning up and stuff. And about half an hour later, I go to grab them, and they're gone. Because my 18-month-old daughter, she came into my room at some point and got a hold of that case, and it is now somewhere in this house. I do not know where it is.
You're gonna have to figure out that would be like a good parody of like a thriller, where you have someone who knows like evidence, but they've been sort of, they're having a hard time speaking or recalling it, and you have to figure out how to draw it out of them. It's like you with an 18-month-old, like, okay, like figuring out, like you make some big colorful map and try to get her to like point to where she left them, or
I mean, I think this says, because I've been a parent a long time. I'm at a point now where I didn't get upset, I didn't scream or yell. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? So yeah. I'm literally like, I reach over, I'm like, where is it? And like my shoulders just slumped, and I'm like, all right, well. So that's an ongoing concern, but regardless, the AirPods themselves are amazing. They're awesome because the charge lasts a long time, right? So you can get 5 hours off of one charge.
Wow!
And then if you have the battery pack with you and it's a portable thing, 15 minutes in that thing will get it back to 100%. And so really, you could go 24 hours without having to plug it into a wall.
So then you just would charge that pack every night and always have it ready to go, and then you got a day's worth of...
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing for me is there have been times when, like, I want to watch TV, but, like, the kids are sleeping, and so I will... Because through my Roku, you can direct the audio from the Roku to your phone. And so I'm on my... So I'm watching my TV, but I have my AirPods in. And so you get the full TV experience, but it's nobody else can hear it.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty neat.
Pretty cool.
So I'm a fan. So Apple always gets my money.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know I'm veering off topic a little bit, but I've been holding out for the new phone announcement because the battery on my iPhone 6s now is just garbage. So I've been just anticipating the new phone so I can finally get a new one.
And it's funny because the selling point now for the new Max XS or whatever the hell it's called is like, it's the biggest phone ever. And I'm like, remember when the selling point was that it's the smallest phone ever?
Yeah. Remember Zoolander? That was like a joke in Zoolander.
I feel like the next one, it's the size of a shoebox. And it's like, what are we, like,
Yeah.
going backwards here, you know? We're going to have, like, the Zach Morris phones now.
Right.
All right. So, well, speaking of money being taken away, we are losing money when we give ours to Apple, but Henry Cavill is losing money potentially because he is not coming back as Superman.
Nice. That's to your segue. Nice.
Not nice to him not coming back.
I wasn't quite sure where that was going.
Can I be honest, Brian? Little peek inside the curtain. Flop sweat right now. me trying to navigate that turn. I'm like in the Winter Olympics doing the luge.
I'm looking at our outline, and I was like, surely he can't be transitioning to this one.
No, but this is true. Henry Cavill. Now, it's kind of interesting because his contract was up after Justice League.
Okay.
And the assumption was that his re-signing was basically a fait accompli. It was just a formality.
Mm-hmm.
And what's been interesting over the last few months is that formality has kept getting stretched out. And what I was hearing was that he signed up with a new manager, Danny Garcia, who also worked with The Rock in some capacity.
Oh, interesting.
She might have been married to The Rock, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to say that without not knowing it. Yeah. She's ex-wife of The Rock.
Wow.
So arguably she played a big role in turning Dwayne Johnson into, the genre that he is today.
Yeah. Worldwide.
Yeah, exactly. So I would assume that Henry Cavill was hoping for something like that. And so when it came time to re-sign, I think Henry Cavill was pushing, or his people, him through his people, whatever, pushing for like superstar money, if not Dwayne Johnson money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Warner Brothers is probably like, well, Superman is the star. You're
right.
You're just the guy playing Superman.
Right.
And so for whatever reason, they've hit an impasse. Now apparently, this all happened. The news broke on Wednesday, and it broke too early. This is not something Warner Brothers wanted. And Henry Cavill's manager put out a tweet saying, the cape is still in the closet. Don't everybody get ahead of yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then later in the day, Henry Cavill posted something on Instagram where it was this weird. Did you see this?
It was very cryptic.
It was beyond cryptic. Cryptic is generous.
Yeah.
He's like holding up a picture of, or an action figure, of Superman.
Slowly. Yeah, like he slowly brings it into frame as there's like dogs barking in the background.
It was very odd. And
then he slowly lowers it. It was very Lynchian.
There you go. Yeah, he was speaking backwards,
Yeah.
And now this all encompassed a period of like 8 hours. And of course, Twitter was just going ballistic, Mm-hmm. And I almost wonder if this was a bargaining chip or a bargaining strategy by Cavill's people to be like, look how people are freaking out. Because for a while there, Henry Cavill and Superman were trending, and I can't remember the last time that's happened,
Right.
But then the corollary to this is Warner Brothers being like, look, as far as we're concerned, he is the Superman of record, but there are no Superman plans right now. So which to me is like, okay, so 6 of one, half a dozen of another, So it's all just a mess, and it's just, Brian, I'm like a broken record. Warner Brothers does not know what to do with Superman.
Yeah.
How do you have the single most iconic superhero in the world, period,
Yeah.
and have no clue how to make him palatable? I just don't understand this. What's going on?
I don't know. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on this, but to me, the short answer I think is overthinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
I mean, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but like major, visionary directors have expressed interest in a take on Superman. I'd say take those pitches, get your head out of your butt with your vision, and like start listening to some other people.
Just a few months ago, Christopher McQuarrie was asked if he would do a Superman movie. He said absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how Warner Brothers doesn't read that tweet or whatever it was, pick up the phone, get him signed, get Cavill back in the cape, and be like, all right, 2020, that movie's coming out.
Yeah, but I the one thing I do realize is that they are tangled at the moment in their own little web of their making, because they have this universe they tried to create that didn't work, but they do have strands that are resonating strongly.
Yes.
So like it's like so I mean Wonder Woman obviously is the strongest one, and that's something that they don't want to undo, and she's connected to this universe now that no one seems to enjoy other than her standalone movies.
Sure.
So I mean, and I'm sure if someone were to come in and try to do another Superman movie, they'd want it to be a completely different vision, right? So
but why? Why does it have to be? I mean, it's like,
well, within reason. I mean, not like they're going to turn the whole world upside down, but just I don't think they much care to connect it to the films that came before it, is my guess. I wouldn't.
You're telling me that there isn't interest in a Superman movie starring Henry Cavill, starring Amy Adams, starring Lawrence Fishburne. It has no explicit connection to Man of Steel, except, well, obviously it's a sequel, but it's just an adventure of Superman. You're telling me there wouldn't be an interest in that movie?
From directors?
From like a Christopher McQuarrie, let's say.
Possibly not. I'm sure they would love to come. I mean, it's sort of like, remember the storyboard artist who was involved with pre-production on the Ben Affleck Batman movie that had been announced? He said that script for that film that I guess Ben Affleck had written was one of, if not the best Batman script he's ever read.
Yeah, that's right. That was Jay Oliva, the storyboard artist.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you think about Matt Reeves coming on and doing his Batman movie, and he decided not to make the best Superman script people had ever read.
Best Batman
he wants to make his Batman script.
Yeah.
Right? So I just imagine someone of Christopher McQuarrie's caliber or anyone else of his ilk, they're not going to want to shoot someone else's vision. They want to make their Superman.
Yeah, but it's like, to me, it's like this. It's like you get Sam Mendes to do James Bond, and he plays the ball where it lays, right? And he makes a pretty darn good James Bond movie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. Now, granted, I mean, we just saw the inverse of that, because Danny Boyle's like, no thanks, and he took his ball and went home, right?
Yeah.
But to me, the icon is bigger than the franchise, the individual franchise.
I agree.
I mean, look, let me put it this way. Amazing Spider-Man 2 made more than $700 million worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, that's like a flop, quote unquote. But my point is, it made that money because people like Spider-Man.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if you make a good Superman movie, people show up. I'm like, can we? Because now, let's say they're like, all right, forget it. Back to formula. Are we going to be back in a few years with Krypton again?
Excuse me. It's possible,
right?
Yeah.
I'm like, can we think about it? We haven't had just like a Superman adventure, just like something that's not beholden to everything that's come before. Superman Returns was just, that was Bryan Singer doing, Vertigo with the Richard Donner movie.
Yeah.
And then with Zack Snyder, they restarted the whole thing with the promise of, the next time it's going to be this. And then what was next time? They lost their nerve and were like, no, we got to put Batman in there.
Well, I mean, I guess it goes back to what I was saying, overthinking,
yeah. My point is this. For the vast majority of people our age, Chris Reeve is the definitive Superman. Henry Cavill is the closest we've come to a definitive Superman after Chris Reeve, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's so perfect in the role. Even when the movie, obviously some movies turn out better than others, but no one questions how charming he can be when he's fully, engaged. Like even Justice League, which is kind of a mishmash, he was great in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's that? Like, give that Superman a movie. No. We're gonna do. What are they doing now? They're doing a Supergirl movie.
Yeah, that seems. They said Warner Brothers said that's their priority at the moment.
Which, like, guys, I'm not saying don't do a Supergirl movie, but you've got a TV show already. It's going into its 4th season now.
Yeah, it's quite popular, right?
Apparently, four seasons ain't nothing.
Yeah,
you know. I don't know what's going on over there, man. Really.
But it does seem also, it feels like they do care about that universe, and it feels like they should get that universe figured out before they start, making more movies, because then maybe they're going to do Supergirl a disservice,
Yes.
and then she'll get her movie, and maybe it'll be fantastic. But then at some point they are going to scrap this universe, and she'll be collateral.
Yeah, it's just a shame. It's funny. I I tweeted this the other day where I'm just like, you have one of the best actors to play Superman, and you don't know what a shame that Warner Brothers, they just tripped over their own feet, trying to do this, and look where we are now. I tweeted some variation of that, and for the most part, people start responding, but in positive ways. And then the Zaddies came out.
The Zaddies?
The Zaddies. You know what the Zaddies are?
No.
They're like the Snyder heads.
Is that what they call themselves?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they call themselves that, but I know that other people call them that, because it's like Zach/Daddy Zaddy.
Oh, maybe we have talked about this. Okay,
I'm sure we have.
I try to repress this stuff. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
and it's hilarious because I've been taking fire on Twitter for the last 4 days from these folks.
Oh, really?
And granted, I teased a little bit because there's like a one of these guys has like a pro pic of Snyder as Jesus. And I'm like, look, if you're going to have a profile picture like that, I'm not going to take you seriously. People are like, oh, it's just a joke, stupid. And I'm just taking fire. But it's very funny because this is interesting, because somebody's like, you people are the reason this happened, and you chase Zach away and whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what first of all, what do you mean you people? And this is hilarious, Brian. I just found this out. I have a verified check mark on my Twitter. Mm-hmm. So people with it's a blue check mark. They say blue ticks. Like, you blue ticks.
This feels like that SNL parody of the post-apocalyptic teen movies, where they all have like, oh, we got to run from the chasers.
I totally thought of that.
Got like a name.
That thing with Pete Davidson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, what the hell is a blue tick? And somebody had to explain this to me. I'm like, whew, wow, okay.
Yeah.
But regardless, Oh, and by the way, our buddy Paul Shirey got into some of these cats too, so I'm not alone.
Well, I'll just stay safely over here by the sidelines,
away from Twitter. You got the right idea.
Yeah.
So Supergirl movie is coming, TBD. I guess we will see. Honestly, if the last few years have shown us anything when it comes to DC Comics movies, they announce about 50 projects, of which three actually make it to the screen.
Yeah.
I'm actually very curious. Does a strong performance by Aquaman and Shazam make it more or less likely that Henry Cavill comes back as Superman, or does it make it more likely that they say, no, well, let's focus on these other characters instead?
Yeah, Aquaman will be interesting. Shazam, I've got to admit, I keep forgetting is tied to that universe. Like, it just feels like its own entirely separate thing.
And it's kind of funny because, at least per the trailers, Shazam seems more explicitly tied in than Aquaman.
Yes, like he references all the stuff that has come before.
Yeah. So, interesting. I don't know. And by the way, that's actually a part of they were trying to negotiate a cameo in Shazam for Henry Cavill, and that's where talks kind of broke down.
Right, because he was not interested.
I think he was interested. I would assume it came down to scheduling plus moolah.
Sure.
Which I got to admit, it does bum me out, because I was just under the assumption that he was in fact going to be doing that cameo. So I'm like, oh, But that's a developing story. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
One last bit, Brian. Why don't you tell me about this?
So I thought this was kind of interesting. This is, you buy TVs in the past, I don't even know, 8 years or 10 years or so, and they come with this feature. I don't know if it's technically called this, but it's like motion smoothing.
Okay.
Right? So what it does is...
it looks like a soap opera.
Yes. Well, everything now is in HD, and so they want everything to look as crisp as possible. So they have this way that they manipulate what's being projected on your screen, and everything is shot, 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second. But what this TV does is it imagines more frames in between the frames and finds ways to remove blur and keep everything this really artificial, smooth look. It's like Zachy said, like a soap opera kind of look. And for many people, including you and I we hate this, right? And it's fine for, say, like sports or something where you do want to feel like you're there and it feels very vivid. But when you're watching a movie, movies aren't shot that way. So you could watch something by Christopher Nolan or whatnot, but it'll look cheap.
Yes.
You know, it looks like it was shot with soap opera television cameras. And but for some reason, TV companies think this. People will think that, oh, now my TV looks even better. And so, you know, we're not alone. Ryan Johnson's been speaking out about this for years, and he does something that I do too, which is when I go to people's houses and I see this, I go, "Give me your remote." I turn it off.
I do that too.
and I find in many instances people don't even know it, like they don't realize it. And even in recent years, I've noticed that they've sort of scaled back on it a little bit, so it's a little more subtle. So I don't know. But what's interesting about this is recently Christopher Nolan and Paul Thomas Anderson, who are huge film advocates, so they're not into artificiality very much. You know, they like the tactile sort of approach. They have rallied or are trying to rally people who are members of the DGA to come together and find some way to get this either removed from televisions, reaching out to television manufacturers, or just figuring out how to get people to be aware that they should or can even turn this off. So apparently they've called together some sort of survey that they sent out to DGA members along with a letter saying, fill this out. We're going to figure out what's the best approach, and we're going to combat this.
Nice.
Yeah, which is kind of fun. I mean, you know, Christopher Nolan, one of our highest profile directors working today, this is something on the forefront of his mind apparently at the moment. So that's kind of interesting.
I mean, I can appreciate the fact that given Christopher Nolan having very specific preferences for how his movies are viewed, I can imagine him just like being at like a friend's barbecue, and he wanders through, you know, their living room, and like Interstellar is on the HD TV, and he just stops and gets all twitchy.
Yeah, right.
You know,
drops his hamburger and Budweiser.
That's right.
They slowly fall.
And you hear
"brong." Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's true. Just a few weeks ago, I was in Spokane at my in-laws' house, and I had to fix. I was like, "What are you guys doing?" You know, because the kids were watching because they had logged into my Vudu account, and I'm looking at the kids. I'm like, "Kids, what? I've taught you better than this," you know.
Right.
Because it looked so bad, so I went and fixed it. Yeah, that's just a thing that you have to do, you know.
Yeah, well, and I have a friend who works in the entertainment industry, and she had it on, and we were watching television. I was like, ugh. I'm like, what? Why do you have this on? And she was like, no, it's better. That's why I paid for this television. Like, she thought that was the upgrade, like being able to see television that way. And I was like, no.
Did you just get up and leave at that point?
I you know me. I try to like be nice, and so I'm like, oh. Well, you know, it's interesting. And then I try to do my little speech and make it sound natural.
I picture being like, no, it's better. And you're like holding your glass, and it's just breaking, and just blood is dripping down your, you know.
Yes.
As you smile, you're like, uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, we could turn the image on its side as well, but that's not how the director intended it to be.
Yes. All right, well, while Brian wipes up his bloody wound, let's take a little break, and then we'll come back and talk about The Predator. And we are back, and, you know, there isn't that much Star Wars news this week. Solo, A Star Wars Story, is out on digital, which, folks, I hope you will check it out. All y'all who missed it, which is a bunch, check it out, and we'll be back next time, and we'll have more Star Wars news then. But there is another big sci-fi franchise that is back in theaters right now that is going to be the focus of our attention for this episode. It is The Predator. This is Predator 4, if you're keeping count. Or I guess Predator 6, if you include the two Alien vs. Predator movies.
And I don't.
A lot of people, well, this movie does, though, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So this is directed by Shane Black, who, of course, did a script polish on the original film, and he appeared in it as Hawkins, the first casualty of the aforementioned Predator. And we had a lot of anticipation going into this one. I don't know, Brian. I think because of Shane Black, not so much because of the Predator, but because of the Black.
That is totally true, because if this had been just a new Predator movie by some guy,
Yes.
Yeah, I've been like, okay, well, we'll see. But with Shane Black, I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is like the sequel I would have wanted years ago.
Yes. So it it came out yesterday, and it's actually doing pretty well. They're saying it's going to make about $28 million, and it cost $88 million. This movie.
That seems like a reasonable budget for something like this.
Well, you'd think so, Brian. But the previous Predator movie, Predators from 2010, cost $35 million.
Wow, really?
That's true, and you understand how it cost that little when you realize it was produced by Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so to me, I'm almost like, no, $35 million is what you want to spend on a Predator movie.
Yeah, even as I said that, I felt like maybe that was even a touch high. I feel like a movie like this, like 70-ish.
Yeah.
Something doesn't feel awful.
Well,
or 65.
Digital Predator dogs cost a lot of money to visualize. So clearly, so this movie, like I said, it's written and directed by Shane Black, and by the way, there was a little bit of controversy last week. We talked about this briefly last time because Shane Black cast a friend of his who is a sexual predator, a registered sex offender.
Yeah.
And so this is an actor named Steven Striegel, who's had bit parts in, I think, in The Nice Guys, also in Iron Man 3, and just as a friend, he wanted to give him a break, so he cast him in a very small role in this. And Olivia Munn, who the scene was opposite, she found out after the fact that this was the case, and she took her concern to Fox, who ordered that scene to be cut out. And I think I think overall, pretty much the system worked. I think it got handled the way it should have been handled.
Right.
But unfortunately, that did overshadow the film itself.
Yeah, and as soon as that even came out, I was like, no, I like Shane Black.
Yeah,
don't be a bad guy.
I had that same thought, and I have to give Shane Black a lot of credit because he was asked about this. I'm assuming this is at the premiere of the film, and he gave a very brief response that I think, to me, and actually we should play this. So let's play this. But to me, this is the exact way you take ownership of this kind of a problem, unequivocally. You apologize unabashedly, and you own it. So
right.
let's play this real quick.
I made an error, a judgment that is irresponsible. I'm not just a kid who can say, we're making movies in college, put your buddy in the movie. This is an adult decision with big responsibilities. And I didn't vet somebody. And it doesn't matter that I was shocked at these emails or that he misrepresented my friends and I. Oh my God. It doesn't matter. I was the captain of that ship. It's my job to make sure that those things don't happen, you see? And I failed. And I did cause pain to people in the cast. That's unacceptable. I take full responsibility. I'm very deeply sorry. I think about this a lot. I hope I learned from this because it really bothers me that this movie, which could have been these beautiful people on a beautiful night with only this, has been overshadowed in some ways by a stupid decision that I made. I'm very sorry to anybody.
Like, Brian, what did you think of that?
Well, I appreciate him taking such firm ownership over it, and I also would really like to believe, when he talks about his friend misrepresenting himself.
Yes.
Right? Like, I'd really like to think that, he didn't knowingly bring someone who, we don't really need to get into it, but it's pretty messed up.
He exchanged text messages with an underage relative of his that are beyond inappropriate.
Yes. And so it's just like you wouldn't want to think that, this is him trying to sweep something under the rug and help this person out, and then put, actors who didn't ask for this in contact with this guy.
Yes.
Right. And so the thing that mostly stands out to me with this is that I would like to believe him, and I'd like to believe that he was probably longtime friends with this guy, and hopefully things were misrepresented to him. And now that he is aware, he took the actions he should have and apologized.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. So like I said, that did kind of overshadow the film itself. And, I think, unfortunately, that's what people have been talking about. And, that's a weird prism that a lot of people are going to view the film through, which is unfortunate. But then there's the film itself, which I don't know. We have not talked about it, you and I.
No, I truly have no idea what you thought of this.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Let's just put it this way. I'm starting to feel better about my feelings on it.
You know, I think I didn't. Okay, first of all, I didn't like it. I did not like the movie. Let me just be on Front Street with that. But I'm trying to in encapsulating my thoughts. It feels like it's a little too Shane Black for Predator and a little too Predator for Shane Black, both. And so it's like neither. So it's this weird kind of nothing of a movie.
I agree with you.
You know, and it's weird because tonally, it feels like Monster Squad.
It totally does. I can't believe that didn't occur to me, considering that he co-wrote it with the person that he co-wrote Monster Squad with.
That's right. So that to me,
Fred Dekker, right?
Fred Dekker, exactly. And so I think the movie starts pretty strong. I think the opening action sequence was quite effective.
Yes.
I don't think it was ever as effective as that. In fact, I would say for me, the high point of the movie is in the first 5 minutes when we hear the Predator theme.
Oh, I was so excited.
Right?
Yeah, I was hoping that they would incorporate that theme, and
they did in a big bad way.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, I thought it was very clever that it uses that music not to represent the Predator, but Sterling K. Brown.
I didn't even think about that.
Because we hear that every time we're being taken to him or he's on screen. And you know why, Brian? Because the humans are the real villains.
Whoa,
That's like the message of this movie. I'm like, really, guys? Like,
right,
you know what I mean? You know, and it's funny because obviously, unfortunately, this controversy surrounded Olivia Munn, and you know, she felt isolated and alone, and that's unfortunate. She shouldn't have had to deal with that. However, I have to say, I loathed her character in this movie.
She didn't really feel like much of a character, to be honest.
She just felt. I mean, she felt like. Well, actually, here's the thought that I had. It felt like the scene that was cut out was her introduction scene.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, totally.
Because when the actual scene when we first meet her, you can almost see like the scissor marks on the film reel.
Yeah, when she's watching the dogs or whatever.
Yeah,
it just feels really abrupt and like we should already know who this is.
That's exactly right. And so I was like, well, obviously that's a problem, and that's not her fault. But I had no idea who she was. She was whoever the script needed her to be.
Yes.
She's like science exposition lady, but she's also tough as nails, like, you know, rifle shooter lady, but she's also kind of goofy because she shot herself in the foot, but she's also like able to, you know, like, it was just like, who is she?
Yeah.
Right? So that's one problem. And then Boyd Holbrook as our lead character, who, do you know his name? Do you know the main character's name?
No.
Right? You've forgotten it already.
I have, yeah.
It was McKenna, but whatever.
Quinn McKenna.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's my point, right?
Yeah.
So he's like your badass special ops guy. I don't know. The movie ends, and I'm just like, why does this movie exist? That was me.
Yeah, I agree. But, I felt like there was a lot there.
Yes.
That's, again, well, going back to when I get down on a film, is like when I feel like, oh, but you had it.
Yeah.
I felt like... Okay, yeah.
Sorry, real quick. Because you and I have talked about the previous Predator movie, Predators, and I've told you, I actually kind of like it. And you were like, I don't really remember much about it. I actually revisited it just this past week, and I'm like, say what you want about that movie. There's a mission statement there that feels different and kind of it's doing something, and it's got a worldview that it gives you that feels situated within this franchise while it's doing something different. To me, Predators, it just feels disconnected. It doesn't feel like a Predator movie to me.
Yeah, well, that was part
Predator,
of my...
this new one, The Predator. It doesn't feel like a Predator movie to me.
There's a lot there's like 4 movies in this movie,
Yes.
right? Okay, so I'll just real quickly. I wrote down when I was walking out of the theater. I just put like it was fine.
Yeah.
I just put it felt like an okay sequel made in the 80s that you hadn't seen all these years until now. You know?
Yes.
And for a lot of reasons, I think we'll probably get into. But so I said, you know, you like being in that world again, but I don't know that I'd watch it again.
Yes.
You know, so I like the Predator. The Predator's a memorable villain. So anytime he's running around doing stuff, I'm kind of interested in watching man versus, you know, Predator.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you know critic Vince Mancini?
No.
Okay, I really like his stuff. He does really good reviews, and he summed this up so well that I felt like I had to share this because this is totally how I felt. He said, "The Predator feels both a lesser Predator movie and a lesser Shane Black movie."
Hey, I said that. Cool.
Yeah, but it's still a Shane Black Predator movie, which makes it at least medium watchable, even when it shouldn't be. It feels a little like Black, has promising ideas for 4 different Predator spin-offs and just tried to squeeze them all into one movie. So it feels like an overstuffed, exuberant, unmedicated ADD kid directed it with a series of scenes that are fun individually but don't exactly hang together as a coherent movie. And I was like, yep, done. That's basically... Because, I mean, look, you have... As you brought it up, it made me think. I mean... Oh, actually, it's a spoiler. But there's... One of them is interesting, like a little twist on the Predator character.
Yeah.
And then you got the other one that's the Predator on Earth during Halloween in the Suburbs movie.
Yes.
And then you have the ragtag, you know, quote-unquote crazy people against the Predator movie. So there's just a lot of stuff, and it just feels really crammed when I wish they had maybe just picked one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's just kind of tonally all over the place, and you know, a lot of people are complaining about the jokes, and I was like, well, I don't think it was any more jokey than, you know, I mean, it just, people are like, oh, it's got like Marvel jokes. I'm like, well, I didn't get that sense.
Actually, you know what? I'll have to chime in on that. I like Shane Black jokes, and I didn't find these jokes very funny.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I just wasn't laughing that much, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it felt like in the spirit of a Shane Black film, but it felt like something that he didn't have his heart into or something, or he just kind of pulled out his usual tricks and like decided I'll fix this later.
Yes.
Or I'll make this funnier later.
It's like a placeholder joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't remember laughing that much, so maybe that's why I'm sitting here like, well, I didn't think it was that jokey, you know?
Yeah.
There was one line in there where a character says, "Get to the choppers."
Yeah.
Which I thought that was funny.
Oh, I mean, look, it made me giggle.
Yeah.
Because, of course, you know.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's I just watched Predator, the first Predator, this past week. I watched it with Hamza, my oldest. I was like, it's time, boy. Come on. And he loved it, by the way. He wasn't, you know, he's 11. That's like the age to watch that movie, you know?
That's funny, yeah.
But I haven't seen Predator in a long time, and so I really got to appreciate it with brand new eyes, how effectively and how minimalistically, you know, it tells this really interesting, really compelling, very primal story.
Yes.
And to a large extent, you know, it feels like they've already told the story.
Yes.
Like that's the problem I have, is that the creature is interesting within a certain set of parameters, and then when you expand beyond that, it just becomes less interesting to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, you know?
No, I think I was trying to think about why I liked the first one so much, and I think it's because, like, exactly what you just said, it's very focused, right? It's like you got these guys, and something is hunting them, and that's it.
Yes.
Right? And so it just becomes man versus unkillable beast. And as they, you know, dwindle in numbers, and then it comes down to just Schwarzenegger and this creature. I mean, it's so intentional and purposeful in its action and in its direction and execution of that action.
And,
right? And so,
and Brian, just to underscore a point you made, the title of this movie of the original movie could have been Schwarzenegger v. Creature.
Yeah, sure.
And that would convey the point. Like, my point is, I think we lose sight of the fact that Schwarzenegger is just as much a part of that movie's appeal.
Well, totally. And I mean, you do like those guys, but as they get, again, it's like 5 guys, and they one by one get picked off till you're down with one guy, and it's just man versus thing, and like, how is this man going to outwit this thing? And it's the tension is great, the filmmaking is great, and then when it comes down to the finale, you're just like, ooh.
Yeah.
And it's just so focused and refined and perfect, and that's what that story is. And I felt like this one had a little too much going on for me to... I'm like, we keep cutting back to Holbrook's family kind of situation, or at least his wife back in the house, and I'm like, I don't know that we need to be here. And a lot of the action doesn't feel... McTiernan, he's a masterful action filmmaker, and I mean... down to like where he puts the camera, what focus he chooses. I mean, it's all intentional. Yeah. And this one felt a little bit more just capturing a lot of things that were happening all at once, so you don't feel as invested in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah,
so it just when you stack them together is what I'm saying.
It's funny because I'm watching with my kid, and we're at the point now where the predator is sort of going to be introduced into the film before all the people start getting killed, and he turns to me, he's like, you know what I think is going to happen? I'm like, what? I think they're going to all get picked off one by one. And I'm like, really? You think that? Like, and it's just very funny to me. Like he's watched enough movies now.
Right.
Where he's like connecting those dots. And then like the first one, Hawkins dies, he turns to me, he's like, I told you. I'm like, oh yeah, you were right. But it's funny too, because later in the movie when Schwarzenegger's like, get to the chopper, he turns to me, he's like, hey, I know that line. And then he's like, why do I know that line?
Oh, really? That's really funny.
And I'm like, how does he know that line? But he does.
Yeah. Wow. Well, he truly is your son.
He really is. So funny. He's like, hey, I know that. Why do I know that?
But it's interesting too that this movie seemed to try to harken back to the original in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Down to like a jungle finale, and even sort of like the 80s stock characters.
Yes.
You have like the suicidal guy, the guy with Tourette's, which feels a little... I was a little like, ugh, when they did that. They have like the religious guy, the guy who blah, blah, blah. Which I didn't mind, actually, because then it made them each distinct. But it did... they're these sort of stock 80s macho grunts who wear their balls on their sleeves. Kind of people.
But, Brian, that's the point, right? Like, the original Predator ends, and you can name at least 3 of the mercs.
Sure.
Right? Like right now, Brian, name, in addition to Schwarzenegger, name me 3 of the other guys.
Oh, crap, dude. See, all right, look, I'm not going to remember their names because this movie isn't like my Terminator 2 or anything. But I can tell you who each and every one of them is. Like, I even remember their traits down to the one guy who's shaving.
Okay. Certainly after, let me put it this way, after Predator, if you were to just watch it, the movie ends, and I were to ask you, you would know who they are. That's my point.
Every single one of them. Jesse Ventura, the Native American guy, Shane Black. I could name. Yeah,
you can name their characters. You would know their characters. Name. What's Thomas Jane's name in this movie?
Well, I'm probably not going to prove your point very well because it's almost the opposite. Like I was saying that giving them these stock traits at least helped me remember them. Like I remember the guy with Tourette's, and I remember the guy with PTSD, and I remember the guy who tells jokes, and I remember. So but I just didn't. I don't know.
It was weird because it just felt like sort of ticking off the boxes. Like, okay, we have. Are we doing spoilers? I guess we are, right?
Well, all right. We'll throw the thing up.
All right.
Spoilers.
Okay, so we have a scene. It's about half an hour into the movie, 20 minutes in, where Boyd Holbrook, Quinn McKenna. I wish he was Cade McKenna, to be honest.
He should have been. That should be like shorthand.
Cade McKenna. So he's on the bus with the loonies. That's what the group, right? That's what they call themselves. And he he's like, so who are you? And I'm this guy. And well, who are you? Well, I'm the guy who does this. And literally, it's like they're talking to the audience. I'm swearing guy.
That is totally, yes.
I'm funny guy who's actually like disguising some deep-seated, emotional issues. I'm like dignified black guy, but I've got it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so, well, I guess thinking further about this, I didn't mind the characters per se, even though I wouldn't mind a couple more passes on the script with them.
Yes.
But I just wish they had been in a more focused story and maybe had a clearer journey like the people in the first movie. Instead of like cutting around all these other different things going on.
Well, but
like I want to see them start in some place and I'll end up in some other place. Like they all hate each other and by the end they're working together, even though it comes down to one guy, or like. And I felt like that was missing.
What's missing is that Boyd Holbrook, who is a fine actor, I have nothing against him. He's not Schwarzenegger. He's not like a force of nature, and so I never felt. I was just like, why am I following this guy? What, like, who cares about him?
With him, now I'm thinking about it, they should have picked between macho or smart.
Yes.
Right? He should have been one or the other.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's just, it's weird because the movie ends and you're just like, all right, Even Sterling K. Brown, honestly, who is great, and he's great in this too. But it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
he is good, but I felt like they didn't give him much to
They didn't give him much to do, and they were like, you're an asshole. You're like a bureaucratic asshole. Do that. And he played that to the hilt. He was fun to watch.
Yeah. But if it had been a more meaningful role or something, sort of like Paul Reiser in Aliens or something like.
Yes, I agree. Because honestly, I didn't realize he died.
That was so confusing. I talked about that with the person I saw it with also. It almost feels like it got chopped up in editing. Right? There's like a really brief shot of him dying, and I was like, wait, how did that happen?
I didn't even... It took me until the end of the movie to realize he was dead.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wait, where's Sterling K. Brown? Oh, I guess he's dead.
It almost feels like a moment that was like shot for an R-rated movie, but they decided to make it PG-13, and so they like trimmed it so you don't understand what's happening.
Is this movie PG-13, by the way?
It's not, but I'm just saying that's what it felt like when you have those sort of like really quick cuts and it's confusing.
Yes.
To mask the violence, but...
it's like, I don't know. None of the characters really stuck out to me. Now, I mentioned to you off mic that when I was watching this the first time, there was stuff where I was like, oh, I'm sure Brian likes this, or Brian will like this. And I was thinking of the stuff where, like, Jacob Tremblay is, like, putting on the Predator mask, and he's like... the juxtaposition of this sort of normal suburban tableau with this very bizarre Predator apparatus, And
Zachy, you couldn't be more correct. I know maybe this is an unpopular opinion from what I'm seeing online, but I would have been completely happy with a Predator in the suburbs on Halloween, and I think because then you introduce the loonies, right?
Yeah.
Which is what they call themselves, let me be clear. And in the movie. And then they invade, these guys that have to convince themselves that they're not crazy and that they're good at something that maybe isn't a valuable skill in the world. But when this thing invades the real world, this is where they are at their best. And then they save, quote unquote, America or the U.S. or the Earth or whatever you want to call it, right? It's not isolated in the jungle anymore. Now it's coming to our world, which I realize is Predator 2 also. But
yeah, By the way, Brian, did you catch the little tie-in to Predator 2?
I'm not certain. I saw they referenced it right with the years that it visited.
That and also Jake Busey, who is the son of Gary Busey. He plays the son of Gary Busey's character.
Oh, I did not catch that.
Yeah, because Keys, Brian. Huh? Keys?
Could be a little nod.
Could be.
Yeah.
They also reference the Alien vs. Predator movies. I guess somebody pointed this out to me because there's like a Predator staff that we saw in those movies.
Oh, see, yeah, I didn't.
I
saw it. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of wish they had picked one, and for me, which is quite obvious, I would have picked the Halloween night. Guys got to stop this thing before it gets into people's houses,
Yeah.
What else was I going to say? Let's talk about the Predator dogs.
Yes. So
we figured out how to tame a Predator dog. Shoot it in the head.
But how did they do it? Like are you nice to it and then it listens to you? That's it?
Well, they basically shot it in the head, and then all of a sudden it was like a nice dog.
All right.
I actually thought that was going to go somewhere, and it kind of... Well, maybe it did. I don't know. It just felt so... I lost all the threads.
Well, can we talk about, like, the giant mega predator?
Okay, yes. That was the other thing, because we were talking about this is 4 different movies stuffed in one. It could have been interesting enough just to have a predator show up, and you're like, oh, damn. Yes. But then it turns out, no, This one's actually here to help us.
Yeah.
And that's the twist in the middle, and then it is, sort of on our side against a super predator or something.
Okay, so
and that's in there, but
two things, Brian. Number one,
Yeah.
because the thing you just mentioned, there's like the first predator, which is here to help us. Why? Why is it here to help us?
I assume we will find out in the sequel that gets clunkily set up at the end.
Which will not be made, by the way.
We'll get to that later.
Let me put my money down there. Yeah. So that's number one. That doesn't go anywhere. And then, right away, to some extent, because this is about halfway in, or you're just following along. You're like, all right, let's see where we're going. But I'll tell you, as soon as we see this 15-foot tall ultimate predator or whatever the hell it's called, that's where I was like, I think I've just checked out of this movie.
Yes, whenever you get in a sequel, they always feel this need to go bigger. I was going to say bigger and better, but I'm just going to stick with just bigger.
Yeah, literally bigger in this case. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. You don't always have to do that. Just put me in new situations with the thing I like.
Yes. I like to, honestly, it looked silly to me, and it took me out of it because it was like, it felt like it violated the reality that had been previously established for us when it comes to these films. And so for me, I'm just like, it drew attention to the artifice of it. It made me realize, oh, this is a movie.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense, but from that point on, I was like, okay, so wait, this is like the thing now that we're fighting against, and then at the end, when the predator starts talking, even though...
Oh, yes.
That also took me out of it. I was like, I don't want the predator to have a voice.
Sure. Yeah, it's scarier when you can't tell what it's thinking.
Yeah, to me, that's... Oh, okay, see, we got a whole list of things. The other thing, I don't like that everyone's calling it the Predator.
Okay, I will admit, yes, A, dumb. B, maybe the best joke in the movie, though.
About the hunter, it's a hunter, isn't it?
Yeah, they're like, it's more like a bass fisherman. And they're like, well, we're still calling it the Predator because we voted and Predator sounds cooler. I was like, that's kind of fun.
But see, to me, that to me is like, it's like doing an Alien movie where Sigourney Weaver's like, we've got to escape Alien.
Yeah. Yes. No, I totally agree. Or like when Homer is just like, did Braveheart run away?
Right.
Did Die Hard run away?
Yeah, right.
It's like that, yeah.
So a couple, it's just, that's the problem, is that there were all these moments where it called attention to the artifice of the whole thing. And, if we're drawing a comparison to the first Predator, which is, I don't think I'm even exaggerating here, it is one of the greatest action movies ever made.
Yeah.
And I think part of what makes it so effective is that McTiernan buries us within the reality of this scenario.
Completely agree.
We never question it. We're never like, oh, well, that's a little,
Mm-hmm.
And that was the issue I had, right? So when you have Sterling Brown, like, yeah, we call him a predator because that's freaking badass. Like, it's funny, but it's at the expense of the movie.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, it's like I'm trying to sum up some kind of enthusiasm to talk about the third act. I just thought the whole climax was kind of a mess. I couldn't follow anything in the...
I couldn't follow for the life of me what was happening.
Yeah, it's all... Third. I get it. Like, we did the jungle in the daytime. Let's do a forest in the nighttime. Okay, but now we can't see what's going on.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of team ups and then betrayals and re-team ups, and I just kind of started losing track of it.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about the tag?
Yeah. So okay. So here was me, and I'm actually curious what you think. As the movie is ending, it's ramping up towards some kind of reveal.
Yes.
It's clearly we're about to reveal something. So this is me, and I'm wondering if this is just me, but I was like, are we gonna see Schwarzenegger?
Oh, interesting.
That was my
in that pod.
Or something connected to him, like a message from Arnold Schwarzenegger, like
okay, sure,
something connecting this to Schwarzenegger. Because here was me. I was like, the way you're building it up, that's what you need to justify the buildup.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
So then it ends. And it's like the pod opens. It sent us a predator killer, and it's like, what is it? Well, it's just like this. It's kind of this suit that turns you into a predator for a minute.
Yeah.
And then Boyd Holbrook's like, get me one of those, or something like that. And then it ends.
Or no, he's like, what are we looking at? He's like, my new suit.
Yeah, that's right. And then it ends. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny, too, because like Jacob Tremblay has aged about 2 years.
Right.
Did you notice that?
Yes.
It's like, clearly, that was not the original ending.
So
well,
what do you
did
think?
you hear what the original ending was?
No, do you know?
Schwarzenegger showing up.
It was that?
Yep.
Shut up.
And Schwarzenegger turned it down.
No
Basically,
way.
It says the original screenplay by Shane Black, Fred Decker featured Quinn and Rory McKenna. You know them well. But instead of being at a military facility, they're still out in the woods, having survived the encounter with the ultimate predator. In this version, Casey, Olivia Munn, is still around too because she survived the final fight.
Well,
they're catching their breath.
She's alive at the end, though, isn't she?
Yes. I don't know. I'm just reading someone else's writing here. But it says a helicopter lands nearby out of the choppa, they wrote.
Okay.
Walks none other than Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger. But this isn't necessarily a cocky, confident kind of greeting, as his face is, quote, haunted, etched by pain. But he tells the group that they need to come with him. Rory asks, me too? And Dutch smiles and says, especially you. Cut to black.
What? Okay, so first of all, I had no idea about that. So when you told me this first time, so then I wasn't wrong for thinking they were leading up to Schwarzenegger coming back.
Yeah, but it would have happened in that jungle setting. And then this is Schwarzenegger's quote. They asked me and I read it and I didn't like it, what they offered. So I'm not going to do that. No. Except if there's a chance that they rewrite it and make it a more significant role. But the way it is now, no, I won't do that.
I mean, he's not wrong, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, you know, what's funny is you and I talked about this on this show. You might not even remember, but way back when this movie was first announced, I was like, bring back Schwarzenegger. Make it Dutch 30 years later, having to fight the Predator again. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, if you're that's the movie people would want to see.
Agreed.
And that's what I keep coming back to. The first movie is Schwarzenegger v. Creature. That's what made it interesting. And for 30 years, we've cut out the Schwarzenegger v part and we've just focused on Creature, and just people are not we substituted Alien v Creature, you know.
Yeah, right.
People aren't interested, you know. It's about the specific dichotomy between Schwarzenegger and the Creature. So I think that's what we end up with it's setting up a sequel that's never going to be made.
Yeah, and what you're saying now makes me think again. Yeah, it's always interesting. People versus creatures. So I'm fine with new characters if we like them, but like it's got to be about ingenuity and learning and figuring it out and then defeating it. And this movie gets into like what do laboratories think about it and what are the predators thinking right now? It's like who cares? Like this is just a blank versus beast movie, and I just want to see that again in a new setting.
Yes,
and I wish it had been distilled down to that and simplified.
So, I mean, Brian, I'm going to say, when it comes to The Predator, it is probably, of the four, like, just Predator movies, it is my least favorite of the four.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I would go Predator, Predators, Predator 2, and then this one.
Yeah.
And I like Predator 2. A lot of people don't, but I do like that.
Yeah.
So kind of a swing and a miss.
Yeah. It's too bad. It feels like it was pointed in the right direction, and I'm just not crazy about where it landed.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
That is a shame. Any last thoughts on the movie before we wrap things up?
No, other than Alan Silvestri's Predator score is one of his kind of... people don't really bring it up much in conversation, but that is a fantastic Alan Silvestri score. And
I should say, Brian, again... talking about watching the first one with my kid, he's like, this sounds like Back to the Future.
Totally.
And it was his first big action score after Back to the Future, so very definitely there's a heavy influence there.
Very recognizable as Silvestri.
Yes, exactly.
In a very positive way. I love it.
Yeah. And I would say in lieu of watching this new one, just rewatch the original Predator. Yeah, I'd agree. Can't go wrong there. So one of the best handshakes of all time. That's right. I worked with a guy, a director, and every now and then when we'd pass in the hall, he'd just go, "Predator handshake," and then we would just like grip fists. What's the matter? They got you pushing too many pencils? Do you say that too? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good one. This one is a disappointment, unfortunately. But hopefully you are not disappointed, listeners, with the show that we just put out. And if you have any questions or comments or thoughts about The Predator or about our show about The Predator, please let us know. You can email us, moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page and message us there, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. Brian, are you where are you at these days? What are you doing?
I'm still working at Puppy Dog Pals, and we've got new episodes coming up shortly, either end of September or October. I'll look into that for the next one. But people who are watching the show and like, man, when are we going to see something new? Like my kid keeps watching the same one over and over. Fear not. More are coming.
It's a-coming.
Yeah.
And as for me, you can find me at my website, Zackie'sCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. You can also check out the Nostalgia Theater podcast, which my interview with Mark O'Connell is live right now, talking about his book, Star Wars, Spielberg, and Us, Watching Skies. Also coming up in just a couple days, I'm celebrating the 40th anniversary of the original Battlestar Galactica, and I talked to author Mark Altman, who has a new book out about the entirety of that franchise, and that's a fun one. So that's coming up shortly. And as I say each and every time, please go to iTunes, leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. Thank you to the person who wrote that fantastic review for us that I read in the first part of the show. And folks, if you feel similarly inclined, please do the same. And
I wanted to say, because we kind of went to commercial pretty quickly after it, but I just want to say, like, I mean, that message meant a whole lot. And it's when we receive these things, I mean, we really do take them to heart. I mean, we do this in our apartments or in your house, and we just kind of put it out there, and we have no clue what happens to it afterwards. And when we get responses like that, I can't even tell you what a motivator and sort of a heartwarming affirmation that it really is.
You know, folks, it's worth pointing out, every time we finish recording, we wonder whether we should keep doing it, because we really do not like each other. And we're like, do we want to do this effing thing again? And then we get a note like that, and we're like, all right, for the show.
Yeah. Then I tell my assistant, I'm like, tell Zachy, I guess I'll see him again next week.
Yeah. And I tell my assistant to tell his assistant the same. And that's just how this goes. That's how this whole dance continues. So we will be back in just a few short weeks with our next regular show. We will also be back soon with our commentary track for Brian, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That's coming.
Ooh, fun.
So that is on its way shortly. And until next time, on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zachy Hassan. This has been Movie Film 155. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast.